I'm really grateful that you guys are here to have this conversation, and I'm having a lot of fun just getting warmed up. So why don't we jump right in and start with what the concept of mixed pools is, either Rahul or Ishan, if one of you guys want to dive in and explain what this kind of internal term means to people who are our existing customers, people who might be like looking for US mobile. What does this mean to them?
Yeah, so I can start. So right now we have pools. We offer that on our WAT 5G network. But the concept of having someone add their GSM line to the same pool and share the same data was kind of thought about like 2 years ago. But then we were like, can we do this? Should we do it in terms of implications technically and cost as well? But so the mixed pool basically right now is you can have same shared data, you can buy 5 gigs data and you can add multiple lines to it. You can add your car to it, you can add your pet tracker to it, and you can add your line like phone device as well. So I think that is something that no one has done it yet. We are the first and only, and we know who is in market, who is actually doing it, and it's live.
Yes.
And that's great.
No matter what network.
No matter
So
what
it's like you
network.
could be a Warp 5G user or you could be a GSM user. Say you travel like 2 different places, or like you and your partner on the same account, you want to share the same bill. You can do that.
yeah.
Or also like dual SIM, right? You could have both SIMs, eSIM and physical SIM, and just be like 110% connected no matter where you're at.
Never lose service. Never lose that service.
Never lose it. Yeah.
And the best part, like it can be device agnostic, right? Like you can add any device to the pool now. Like that was not possible before, but now you can actually add any device possible in the world that can actually just accommodate a SIM card and add to the same shared data that your phone is using. So
yeah, what was the motivation behind that? Was that one of the dreams? Like, what was the initial like spark that got this in motion?
That was right. Like we have, especially in this world, we have so many devices that are using data. With IoT coming, people were asking, customers were asking for like a lot of times that we need to add our pet tracker to it. We need to add our Apple Watch to the same data that we're using on the phone, and that was not a possibility. And that kind of ignited this, and we're like, yes, let's do this so that people can add their multiple devices and their security camera to the same shared data that their phone is using.
What made the timing right?
I think timing, I would say, is the world. Like with so many IoT devices coming in, I think it's high time, and like people are buying so many devices these days, and everything is relying on data. I think that kind of started this conversation, and I think that's why the timing is perfect, that now they can add to the same data plan, and they can add their multiple devices.
And it's really like to their benefit too, because like currently in like some other carrier, you would have to purchase like a plan for each single device, but here you have one single plan for all your devices. It just becomes much easier to manage as well.
I mean, once this idea became concrete and it turned into motivation, how did we turn that motivation into action? Like, what were the steps that were taken to say, let's get this thing going? Because we know how US Mobile operates. Like, obviously, you know, we've been around the block.
Yeah.
This, like you mentioned earlier off camera, it was like, office changed. We needed different resources. Switch it. Next morning, we're there. Like, 8:30 a.m., walk in, we're getting going. Like, what was the process for this particular feature? What was the pace like? How agile were we?
I would say, like, I think this conversation kind of started on a Wednesday evening with Michael and Ahmed, and we were just talking about what can we do next for pools, and mixed pools became like a concept, and we talked about it briefly, and I was like, let me actually call Ishan, and I think Ishan was obviously at that time he was in Canada. I called him that evening. I was like, Ishan, can you come to New York next week? And he was like, what happened? And I was like, yeah, you.
Bad news.
And I was like, yep, come to New York next week. We are booking you a one-way flight.
One-way flight.
And no turning back.
Yeah, you need to work on mixed pools. This is the concept. Can you work on it? How much time it's going to take? He's like, I was like, yeah, well, you get 2 weeks. Come to New York and then just finish it off. And that's how it kind of started.
And you don't get to leave until it's finished.
They took my passport and everything. Nah, kidding.
Well, anyway, how'd that feel getting that phone call?
It was good. I was very honored for this, like to be the lead developer on this. So it was good. And I was really excited to spend all this time with Rahul too.
Yeah, you guys are tucked away in the engineering corner back in there, just
Yeah.
knocking it out, getting it done.
Yeah.
And I think we did this in like 3 weeks, right? Like
Even less, I
even
swear. Yeah.
even less than that.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Y'all feel like having that change of scenery sparks like more agility? Like, what do you think that change up did to get this done so quickly? Like this massive task, just pushing through.
I think it's multiple things. I believe him coming to New York was a very very big factor. Him being there, and we have a whiteboard, and me being there, and Michael being there, and like Ahmed being there, and he's like, "Oh, we should do something, not the way that you explained, but something differently." And we are there to answer that question right there and then, rather than we like on Slack, he is messaging us, and then we reply on our own time because we are in different meetings and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I think that kind of helped a lot in doing this in 2 weeks or 3 weeks rather than 8 months or 6 months.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just that collaboration, really. It's just like it's double speed when we're together, you know?
Yeah. Podcast, audiobook, 2x. So let's get into like the technical stuff, the stuff that will go way over my head. What were some of the first challenges? Like you're in New York. I see you walk in with the suitcase. He's fresh off the plane. Like, let's get down to business. Like, what are you looking at? What are you up against? Or maybe like, what's that journey like when you set out to accomplish something like this?
Yeah. So the thing is, like, these two networks, like the way they're integrated into our system is like really, really different. So like the biggest challenges for these like shared data is sort of orchestrating all like this data usage and how we track like your line usage and things like that across multiple networks. I say that was the biggest challenge and like technical hurdle we had.
What are the fundamentals of what actually made that like bridge that gap to make that a reality?
Yeah, so I guess it's more of like a system architecture, system design problem more than anything. So for that, and also a data problem too, because we also have to track the usage and we have to track like how we manage these lines for auditing purposes and for our own internal management as well.
Right.
So for that, like I look to our like senior developers like Rizwan, Mustafa, and all those guys to sort of help lend a helping hand to like the architecture. And once that's all sort of finalized, it's just me and coding, nonstop.
Yeah. Is there any particular day or any particular challenge that stood out to you, like when you were writing this code, that was like a brilliant solution that you got to connect the dots there?
Yeah, I'd say like one of the biggest challenges was sort of managing the rate plans for the Verizon, whereas T-Mobile's we sort of have purchase plans that are more on like a prepaid system, whereas Verizon's our plans are postpaid. So sort of managing that difference is very very challenging.
Could you break that down for me, what the difference is between those two?
I'd say like Rahul would have a better answer.
I can take it. Okay. When we say postpaid, basically we are saying, here's the line. It's going to use data, talk, and text. And they're like, yep, use whatever you want. We don't care. You just have to pay this much money. And we're going to charge you, if you go over, we're going to charge you overage for that. It's pretty straightforward. You just tell them, here's the line. Service is not going anywhere because it's on a postpaid.
So in data, like our data team is like making sure that we're approaching that we're estimating what is going to be used by our customers.
So we need to make sure that obviously pools are not unlimited. Like someone is buying a 5 gig pool on our end, on data side, or technically from engineers perspective as well, they need to monitor what they're using so that at 5 gigs they are throttled or we're taking some action on it. Otherwise they can use 500 gigs and that obviously is like very, very expensive, right? So I think that was there before on Verizon, but on T-Mobile, everything is prepaid. When I say prepaid, we actually buy data first. We say we want 200 gigs on this line. And after 200 gigs, people
so each activation is a new order from T-Mobile.
And it has like 3. So one is like you buy data separately, you buy talk separately, you buy text separately. So that was a different thing for T-Mobile. So he had to implement that very, very differently than what we have for Verizon.
Yeah.
More API calls, like 4 or 5 times more API calls than what he's doing for Verizon. And that goes the other way around as well when actually someone is ending the service. When on Verizon someone ends the service, we're like, here you go, disconnected. And that's it. Or you move them to a prepaid. Over here, you have to actually kill their data and then kill their talk and kill their text. Then make sure that it's actually killed and we're not giving like free service to customers.
So that was the challenge. It's fully clear to me now.
Okay, yeah.
How does US Mobile on our side manage multiple different people pulling from this pool. Like how are we, and then like if a user is adding a new line to it, you know what I mean? Like if a user says, okay, I'm going to add a new GSM line, I'm going to add a new Warp 5G line to it onto my existing shareable data pool.
Yeah, so like when we integrate, like they provide an API, which is called an application programming interface, which is like how we communicate with them. So for example, say you want to activate a line, we sort of have to send like a message or like a request through this API, through this endpoint that says, hey, I want to activate this line. Here are the details, blah, 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 blah. So it's just about orchestrating all these calls for all these customers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what our code does, basically. Our code talks to Verizon, talks to T-Mobile's through these APIs.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here's like a good way to visualize this. We created this MongoDB collection to store the operations we take to add a line to a pool or remove a line to a pool. In this case, we're adding an existing line to a pool. So as you can see, like each of these sort of objects, they represent a call. So in this case here, you see we're purchasing this plan. So this is the data plan, and this is the plan code. And then we have one for voice. We have one for text. We're canceling the existing one for text in case like they have like a different plan code than we want for pool. Internally in US Mobile, if you wanted to see like, okay, how many lines are we activating in a GSM pool, or how many lines are we adding or removing, you could look to this MongoDB collection. And if you wanted to debug even further, you can see what specific operations were taken on that line.
As in like how much data they use in that in a particular amount of time, or
more like what we're giving them when it comes to, so like when we activate a line on a pool, we have to give them like a specific data allotment, specific text allotment, specific minutes allotment. So we can see that in this collection here, like through this plan code.
What is usage collection? How does that work?
The way our pools work is we have to monitor how much data you use in a pool. And since you're using like lines across networks, we sort of have to aggregate this data differently and sort of consolidate them into a single place that's easy to read and easy to manage. So we have our daily pool usage collection here. And this basically shows like all the usage that's done in a pool in a single day. So we use this collection to track how much data is being used. And once your like data has like reached its limit, we stop all your service. So this is something that was really important to the implementation, because again, like they send us like usage data very differently, and we have to track and aggregate them very, very differently.
So we get like a package explaining what was used across our entire service line, but it's communicated in two different languages, would you say? How is it different what you receive from both of those companies?
I'd say it's like two different formats.
Yeah. And what you've created is able to interpret both and aggregate them?
Yes. All those metering stuff was existing before, but we sort of had to enhance it so that we can use them within pools, because we didn't have T-Mobile in pools before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, this is just like one part of it. Like so right now this is obviously on a line level. So we're getting usage from Verizon, we're getting usage from T-Mobile. We get that data and we like, okay, let's add to pool lines collection. This is a line, this is a Verizon line. Let's add data from the Verizon file that we're getting. This is a GSM T-Mobile line. Let's add data from that. But then after that, we aggregate this on a pool level as well, because you're getting data in a pool, you're not getting data for a line, because everything is aggregated, right?
Yeah.
So then we aggregate that data. That's a different collection called pools. You will see in that all right, you bought 30 gigs of data, you've used 15 gigs, you still have 15 gigs. We show that in the dashboard as well. Customers can see that.
Right, on the front end, it's like beautiful.
Exactly, on a real-time basis, they can see that data. And on 30 gigs, when they reach 30 gigs, we tell them that, all right, you have reached your 100%. At 90% also, we tell them that you have reached 90% of your data. Do a top up. They can top up. Or if they are close to their cycle, they're like, no, 3 GB is enough now. You've used 27 GB, 3 GB is enough. They can let it be. And after 30 GB, we take action on it. We throttle it. They can still use service, but it's just throttled.
Yeah. So for example, like here's our pools collection in our database where we store like the pool information. So as you see here, we have this field here called balance and MB. So this is the total amount of balance that they have remaining, right? So like they use this much, they have this much remaining. So like this is constantly being updated, increasing as you use your data usage. And then once it approaches 90% of this, then our system knows, hey, you're about to reach your limit, and we email you. And then once you actually reach your limit, we'll kill your data service.
Why don't we look ahead? Seeing that what we have right now, how can we iterate on this in the future? Is there anything being done at this moment to continually improve upon the feature of shareable data?
So we are almost done with this, and I think after this, the next version of this is using this technology or using this feature for our free trial. So the future state of free trial is going to be that you actually get shared data rather than just getting data for one individual line. The biggest benefit of that is now you can add, let's say you get 50 gigs of shared data for free, you can add up to 3 lines. So you can bring in your whole family and use that data, which was not possible before. Now it's possible, and it's device agnostic, it's network agnostic. So you can add that. And
that way when it's over, you want to stay, you're already onboarded.
Exactly.
You're not the lone person walking out into the wilderness.
Exactly. So
exploring the frontier.
Exactly. So you get like 3 lines and whatnot. And the best part of that we're gonna do in future, or like it's coming and we're working on it, is the autopilot stuff, right? Like, so you get that, you buy 50 gigs, but now you've used only 10 gigs from it. So we're not putting you on like a 50 gig plan. We're not gonna charge you like $100 for it. Right. We are actually telling you, see, you've used 10 gigs on an average basis in a month. We're going to put you on a 10 GB plan. This is how much you're going to pay. Are you okay with it? If they're okay with it, they can just click yes. If they're not, they can come back and check after 15 days and again make a decision. Nice. And if not, then we're still going to be charging them what they should be charged rather than just charging like a big amount.
That's fantastic. I mean, that is like the US mobile dream, right?
Exactly.
Like we want to give you exactly what you need, never pay more than that.
Exactly.
Like it's all about that delightfulness.
Yeah, so this is like a foundation of that, and the next version is coming.
Wow.
We're working on it.
One-way ticket coming up soon, huh? One of the questions we had written before is like, how does this speak to our mission of democratizing connectivity? I mean, it's like, how could it be any more clear that one person can go in, get everybody, no matter where they're at geographically, you know, no matter where they're at budget-wise, whatever device you have, like simple, easy, simple. Yeah. Man, I can't wait to sit down with you guys when the next iteration is out. We can talk all about how that came together. Do we have time to do a walkthrough? Can we do a walkthrough with the existing with how it looks right now?
With how it looks right now? Sure. Let's see.
VPN?
Nah, my password expired. But again, it's super seamless, you know? You won't even notice we've done it. That's how seamless it is.
Sweet.
Yeah, you'd think it'd always be there. All right, yeah, so let me just dive in. So I'm just going to show you guys how you can activate a GSM line right on your existing pool.
Cool. Yeah. Customers using the Warp 5G network, and now I want to get GSM.
Yeah, any pool you have today, there's nothing required, like convert your pool into a new pool, nothing. It's like any existing pool today.
Really, out of the box, any existing pool can start doing this.
Yeah. Like today.
Like now. Get on it, folks. Yeah.
Let's see it.
Yeah, so you just click here at add a line, get a new number, and then you select what you want. In this case, we're doing GSM 5G. You got your SIM card number.
What about for port-ins? Is it similar?
Yeah, it's the exact same.
Cool, but you're just not going to port in.
It's hard to do on the test environment.
Right, okay.
All right. So you put in your ICC ID and then put in your zip code. There we go. Get your new number. Line is activating. That's it. That's literally it.
That's it.
Wow.
Yeah. And then you can see it right here, pending activation. That'll update once it's finally fully activated. And yeah, there you go.
That's it. Thanks for showing me around, man. This was such a great conversation. I really appreciate you guys taking some time.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Pulling you out of that meeting.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to get your priorities straight, right?
Yeah.
Thanks so much, man. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate y'all.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.